What's up, everybody? Sunday Sessions, episode 45. Here to deliver a ton of insight and value into operating, growing, scaling an Amazon FBA wholesale business. For any who's this your first time joining, my name is Eric Castellano. I'm the owner of Amazon Lit. Super excited to be here. Happy Memorial Day weekend. Let's not forget what Memorial Day weekend is for. It's to honor those who've passed away serving our military and armed forces. So shout out to all of you who've served for our country. It means a lot. Definitely does. But we're ready to get rocking here. Any questions? Let them rock. Let them rip. I'm here to provide insight and value. Also, this just came to mind. If you are an active or used to be in the military or the service, I'm happy to give you 20% off of our program. So just send me a message on Instagram. No problem setting that up. I want to provide as much value as possible. So we appreciate your service. What's everybody got going on this weekend? Anything exciting? And to lock that in, all you got to do is send me a message on Instagram. And I'll send you a special link with the 20% discount. What's up, West Coast Flips? How we living? Hello, movie time. So typically holiday weekend sales are going to be pretty slow. A lot of people are traveling. Just based on how many people are in here, it tells that it's a holiday weekend. Usually there's 3 or 4 times the amount of people in these calls. But typically holiday weekends for Amazon are very slow for sales. So we got a few of them coming up as well. 4th of July will be slow, Labor Day will be slow, and then that's really the end of the slow season, and it's going to really ramp up, especially back to school. I know Amazon, I had a call with my account rep a couple weeks ago. Amazon is going super heavy this year on back to school promotions, advertising, pushing those products to the front of the page. So if you can get some inventory, backpacks, Crayola, colored pencils, staplers, all of that good stuff, if you can get that inventory, it could be massive for you in the beginning of this back to school year. It can be massive. On a weekly basis, do you notice slower sales on weekends versus weekdays? So historically, our highest sales days are Sundays and Mondays. And let me just pull up real quick. We'll go to business reports. So typically our highest sales are Sundays and Mondays, and our lowest sales are Fridays. And it makes absolute sense when you look at it, because typically we sell consumable inventory, right? Grocery, health and beauty, home and kitchen, health and household, all these products that people use, reuse, and reorder, right? So typically Friday you would think would be a higher sales day because people are getting paid, but no, people have other things going on in their lives. They're typically not ordering, at least for the products we sell, on Fridays. Fridays historically our slowest day. Our highest days are Sundays and Mondays. And the reason why Sundays and Mondays are our highest days is because it's the start of a new week. People are stressing, they got kids, they got life, they got responsibilities, they got work. So instead what they're doing is ordering these products on Amazon to save time in their lives. So historically, crush it on Sundays and Mondays. Fridays are slowest day. And you'll be able to determine that on your business by just popping up your cell phone and looking at those little green or orange bars in your Amazon seller app. Expand it for the whole month, and you'll be able to see what days typically you sell more inventory on. Yeah, so Tech News just asked, pending orders, is there any way to accurately see how much money is in there and how much commission is removed versus taking the averages? Yeah, so this is a great question. So very straightforward. You go to your Manage Orders tab, and at the top left, it says pending, right? So you click pending orders, and it looks like I have over 1,000 pending orders, right? So essentially you take the total number of all of those pending orders, I have over 10,000 pending orders. You would take the total of all of your pending orders. So for example, me, I got, what are we on? 50 a page. I got 50 results on a page, 220 pages. So 50 times 220. So I got about 11,000 pending orders on my Amazon account. Right now, what you would do is you would multiply that by your average selling price. So our average selling price is about $22. So I have about $242,000 in pending orders revenue, right? Now, Amazon keeps about 45% of that. Pretty standard, 40 to 45%. So if you multiply that number by the remainder of what's left after you subtract 100 minus 45, which is 55, you get back about 55% of your revenue. So if I multiply 242,000 by 0.55, we have about $133,000 in pending inventory, right? Inventory that's about to be shipped to the customer. It's waiting for payment, and we will get disbursements on that inventory, majority of it. So that's the best way to calculate your estimates for what your disbursement will be based on what's pending in Amazon. Hope that was helpful, Tech News. All right. We got an ASIN. Homeboy wants to get 40 units of this ASIN. It's gain high efficiency, 146 loads. BSR is 459. It's expected to sell 19,000 units a month, but it's a variation listing. So let's look at this specific variation ending in UGU. UGU, this one is getting about 15% of the review ratings. So, and 20% of the feedback ratings, or 10 and 15, or 10 and 20. So we'll call it the middle, 15%. So 19,000 times 0.15. So this listing's selling about 2,800 units a month. We'll look at the stock. There's one seller that has about 684 units. So yeah, I would pick this up if I can get it at a competitive pricing. I would do a test order. Maybe start with, I'm comfortable going more aggressive on this. So I'd probably get, I don't know, 120, 180. Yeah, no, we got 11,000, probably even more. What's up, Abdul? About to do 52 to 58 this month. Any advice to hit 60 to 70 next month? Yeah, advice number one is join EsellersRI. Advice number two is send in more inventory, right? Whatever the amount of units you sold to do 58 to or 52 to 58,000, figure out the math of what units you need to sell to do 60 to 70,000, and then make sure you have enough inventory available to hit those numbers, right? And a great way to check that is simply checking your inventory planning tab, right? So if you pop into your I don't know why my Seller Central froze. Log me out. I gotta start doing some screen shares on these. But really, it's like I provide, Why is my password not working? So if you go into inventory planning, right? And on the bottom left, you're going to see aged inventory summary. You're going to total those up, right? So I got like over 300,000 orders in stock. So whatever, let's just say you have 10,000 orders in stock, right? In order for you to do that 10% increase, you should have about 11,000 orders in stock, assuming that they're profitable inventory and that they will sell through. And there's a few ways to leverage that. Whoever asked that question, I don't remember who it was, but A, replenishing existing inventory that you already know is profitable and is selling through, and then B, adding new SKUs to your inventory, right? It's important to do both. You cannot just rely on replenishable inventory because the replenishment aspect, it's going to run out at some point, right? Or the listing's going to no longer be competitive. So you have to keep bringing new ASINs into your inventory. My inventory runs is 11.8 days. In inventory is 31. That's healthy, correct? By the way, I'm already par. Oh, awesome, Tech. So yeah, that's really healthy. That's like par for the course, Tech News. You know, you want to be right around 12 inventory turns a year, right? A lot of times I work with sellers and I pop into their inventory turns and days in inventory, and they have like, you know, 8 turns, 6 turns. It's too low, too low. 6 turns. That means your average product's in stock for about 60 days. Imagine cutting that in half, how much more valuable that cash flow would be to you, right? And I'm a firm believer that a fast nickel is always better than a slow dime. I don't want to wait 60, 90 days to make a slow dime. I'd rather flip that inventory 2, 3, 4 weeks, make a quick nickel, and be able to reinvest that money back into my business. And when I'm saying nickel and dimes, it's a metaphor. I'm not actually talking making a nickel and making a dime. Even though I met with tons of business owners where when they analyze their profits, that's the type of money they're making. No, we definitely don't let Amazon name our SKUs, Georgie. We have a very straightforward SKU template. It's the date that the SKU was created, followed by the price in which the SKU was paid for, followed by the supplier initials, followed by the item number. And this lets us organize, document the information a little more clearly in our business. Yeah, mystery. The warehouse optimization modules are in module. Let me just see. I think it's 17. Module 17, workspace optimization. Yo, Eric, just gotta say, loved meeting you at ASD, brother. You're amazing. My question is, any suggesting on approaching brands that already sell on Amazon? Yeah, so here's the thing with brands that already sell on Amazon, and from my experience, it's something I've learned is that typically when a brand themselves is selling on Amazon, they're not very good at it. And that's not a blanket statement. There's some that are very good at it, but typically your regular brand who's selling on Amazon, they don't understand the marketplace very well. So what I do is I put together what we call a pitch deck, which is covered in our brand workshop. And I put together a pitch deck and I point out to them the missing pieces in their marketing, right? It could be they don't have infographics, they have no SEO, their bullet points are trash, their images need updated, they're not enrolled in brand registry, they need enhanced brand content, they're not spending money on advertising. It can be a litany of things that they're missing, right? And we covered this at our Inner Circle event back in Vegas, our live event. We covered in thorough detail exactly what to look out for, how to put the information together, and then how to deliver it to the brand to make sure that you're able to close these brand deals. But essentially what you're doing is looking for gaps in their system. Where are they failing themselves? And then how are you going to improve that? And then most importantly, how will those improvements result in more money for the company? right? Because if your improvements aren't going to result in more revenue, then what's the purpose of them partnering with you? The reason why they partner with sellers like me and sellers like you is to grow their business, right? Not stay stagnant, not stay flatlined. I'm working with a brand right now. We've been doing about 3 years in business. First year is like, I think 100,000. Second year is like 300,000. And then this year, or this past year, 2021, we did, I want to say 1.8, maybe even 2 million. And this year, the goal is to do, 3 to 4 million. But here's the thing, they're pushing for me to keep growing the brand and like pushing me and emailing me every single day. Not every single day, but at least once a week. Hey, Eric, we're not meeting what we did last year. And it's challenging to do that, especially when you start scaling these brands to certain levels. Like getting from 100K to the 1.8 million we did last year was a breeze, but now getting 1.8 million to 3 million, 4 million is going to take a lot more effort on our end in order to do that. New listing creations, optimized ad campaigns, Google targeting off of Amazon to bring them back onto Amazon. There's so many things you need to implement in order to help grow those brands. But here's a word of advice for anybody who's never dealt with a brand before. A, if you're not in any of our communities, please join because there's tons of value in there. But B, give it a try. I remember my first brand deal. It was a company, it was a child's snack pack, like or those go-go fruit squeeze, kind of like that, right? Where they got the little packs where they squeeze the fruit juice out of them, or the fruit puree. It's like baby food. I met this company at a trade show. I met them at Expo West. They're located in Colombia. They wanted to bring their products into the United States. It's the first brand deal I ever did. We signed the contract. They shipped me the inventory. I created the listings. And what I did was I went to our local grocery store. I literally bought all the fruit that was inside of them. Mangoes, pineapples. I cut them up. I bought a light box. I took all the pictures. The pictures were probably the best listing images I've ever put together in my entire life. Right? They were so crisp. They were perfect. They explained everything about the product. We launched the product on Amazon. It sells some inventory. But rank just never caught up. We ran coupons, we ran ads, social media ads, we did everything. The brand was just not picking up. And come to find out, the name of the brand just didn't really fit. It could be misconstrued as something else. So it wasn't the perfect child's name or child brand name for that company, which definitely caused some issues for us. But we learned so much. I didn't make a penny on that deal. I probably lost about $4,000 or $5,000, but I don't see it as a loss, because essentially what I did was I paid $4,000 or $5,000 to learn invaluable information that I'll be able to implement for years and years to come with other businesses that I take exclusive on Amazon, which I currently do right now. And we have some pretty massive exclusive contracts. How do you send open cases intended for display at grocery stores? For example, ketchup. Can you treat those as cases and send to Amazon? So you're talking about shippers, which is essentially when you walk into a grocery store, they'll have a cardboard cutout with, let's say, the 24-ounce ketchup and then the 24-ounce sugar-free ketchup. So yes, you can treat those as cases and send them to Amazon. Typically, though, they exceed the dimensions that Amazon requires for shipping inventory to Amazon. Typically, those shippers are greater than 25 inches long, right? So it doesn't really make sense, and you're not even allowed to send them, whether SPD or LTL. So we typically repackage those shippers into smaller boxes and send them to Amazon. That's the typical protocol. And also, a lot of the times, there'll be mixed SKUs in those. Right, so you get the sugar-free ketchup, and then you get the regular ketchup, and then you might even have 2 different sizes of ketchup all in one shipper deal. So no, you could not ship that direct to Amazon and have them figure out how to sort the inventory. It's recommended to do that yourself. Yeah, tech news. Send me a message on Instagram. I'll send you over the details about Inner Circle, but it comes at three different tiers. It's three different tiers, and the requirement to be, which you already meet, the one that I 100% know of, is you're an EsellersRI, and the second requirement is you must operate a seven-figure a year business, and you must be awesome. And if you meet, you must be awesome because I see you in these calls every week, and you're an EsellersRI. The only thing we need is verification that you do at least seven figures a year, and then you're eligible to join Inner Circle. So we do have an explanation in our brand workshop where we show you how we put together the pitch deck, but we go into much, much, much more detail inside our Inner Circle. The Inner Circle event was a revolutionary that we put together. Nobody else is talking about the shit we talked about at that Inner Circle event. It's called Brand Workshop. Yeah, absolutely, Shamari. Likewise. Richie Hustles, what's good, brother? Yeah, absolutely. You should have some experience with keywords and bullet points and images. Yeah, you have to at least have a basic understanding, a fundamental understanding, because if you're going to pay someone else to do it, you don't know if they're doing it right. You don't know how good, if the images are crisp, you don't know if the keyword optimization was thoroughly done. You just don't know. You don't know. And it actually, that's another thing we review in thorough detail in EsellersRI. Is how to do that yourself, right? Because I'm a firm believer. I typically don't pay someone to do something unless I have a basic understanding of it myself, right? Because then how do I know if I'm even paying them to do what I need them to do if I don't understand it? Usually I'm just flushing money down the toilet at that point. And I see that happen all the time with a lot of Amazon sellers with virtual assistants. They think just because they have a virtual assistant that says they're qualified and knows how to find profitable suppliers or research profitable inventory, but then as an Amazon seller, you don't put in the work to train them, and then you wonder why 30 days from now they're underperforming, right? And it's not their fault, it's your fault. Taking full responsibility is huge. And understanding that, humbling yourself enough to be like, listen, I messed this up. I didn't take the time to train these employees, and now they're underperforming. And that's nobody's fault but my own. It takes a special type of person to do that. Right? And the people that are willing to do that are the people that will continue to prevail. Also, for Happy Memorial Day, right? It's an important day. Recognize all the people who passed away for serving in our armed forces. So shout out to anybody who served or had a family member who served or passed away. Shout out to all of you. Seriously, super important. You help mold this country into what it is today, and it's a fucking land of opportunity. Yeah, we got shit happening crazy, like Governor DeSantis down in Florida. That guy's a joke, right? But it's like America's pretty cool at the end of the day. Could have used some improvements, absolutely. Right. So shout out to all the people who served, especially those that passed away. We built our own software, Georgie, but a lot of people use Inventory Lab. What are the systems for getting rid of all the garbage that comes with prepping, buying inventory boxes, tape, SKU, label, paper, etc.? Like disposing of it, the garbage. You confuse me with the garbage. Garbage like the excess of what you're throwing out. In that case, we rent a dumpster. We rent a dumpster and we have a cardboard compactor and we produce it. You do it, Ian. Awesome. 5 years? Yeah, it's time, man. Yeah, eg.amz. Send me a message on Instagram. I'll review your channel, and if it's something I'm interested in popping into, then absolutely we can set up and I'll hop on there. Just send me eg.amazon. Send me not only a message just reminding me of this conversation, but also a link to either your YouTube channel or your podcast, so I can do some, or have my team do some research on it. What do you mean certain things are prohibited? I didn't delete any messages. Maybe Instagram didn't let you post your message. Yeah, Sarah, I saw you asked a question before, tiers to our mentorship. So EsellersRI is one tier. Inner Circle is what has tiers, but unless you're doing $1 million, don't even think about Inner Circle. It's not for you yet, right? The goal is join EsellersRI. My goal with EsellersRI is to help you build $1 million business, so you can join the Inner Circle, and then I can help you build a $10 million business. So if you're already operating a $10 million business, I help you build a $30 million business. And if you're already operating a $30 million business, I help you build a $40 million business, a $50 million business. That's the name of the game, right? So I'm in Russell Brunson's Inner Circle. I actually I just expired a couple, maybe 30 days ago. I'm about to renew it. I also pay for some one-day services. So for example, I paid 10 grand just the other day to go down to Florida and meet with the guy who I just sat with for like 6 hours, and he sunned me on the game. And I also do a lot of investing in myself as far as traveling to events. I'm going to SellerCon in Austin in a couple days, and I'll post these in the. These are some good events I suggest attending. I'm going to post these in the YouTube chat. So I'm also going to be, and they're in order of when they are. So if you're in these areas, hit them up. So the first one I just posted in the YouTube chat is Ecom Summit. This is the first event of its kind. I've never been. I'm invited as a speaker. But I know the guy Brexton who's putting it together, and he's got a nice little system going on. It's going to be a little more interactive, right? Giving people actionable tasks that they can leave with and immediately implement into their business. So I'm super excited about it. Ecom Summit is in Chicago on August 1st and 2nd. So if you're in the Chicago area, it's a no-brainer to get out there. I think tickets are a couple $100, and I believe they're 50% off until the end of this month. And I'm a firm believer of going to as many events as possible. The next one, which is August 20th to 23rd, this is another event I suggest going to. It's ASD. I just posted the link in YouTube as well. ASD is a wholesale trade show. It's very friendly for Amazon sellers. So if you've never been to a trade show, I highly recommend going to ASD, especially if it's your first. If it's your first trade show. And yeah, George, that information is proprietary. We only share that with our Inner Circle members. And then the third one is happening in New Jersey, and it's AMZ United. This is Scott Needham's event, and got a lot of love for Scott. Known Scott for many, many years. He's an OG in the game. He's built some amazing software. He's got a very good head on his shoulders. So we will be at that event as well. So I'll be in Austin next week, SellerCon, beginning of August. I'll be in Chicago at Ecom Summit, and then we'll be at ASD on August 20th to the 23rd, and then we'll be in Newark, New Jersey on August 31st. So those are 3 or 4 events that I'm attending. I encourage you to get to at least one of them. What made us get our own warehouse instead of using a prep center? So speed, efficiency, and quality control. Definitely. You know, we can produce inventory much faster than a prep center can because it's only our inventory. I'm not prepping anybody else's. There's no line to get my inventory out the door. My inventory is the only inventory getting out the door, right? Also, I have a lot more control on my prep costs because I can eliminate employees, add employees, cut expenses, increase expenses, and get that prep cost to where I really want it to be. And then thirdly, quality control, right? I know that if there's a mistake that happens in my fulfillment center, it gets sent to Amazon. I don't have to call anybody else. I don't have to communicate the issue to a prep center. I literally just walk downstairs and I say, hey, what happened here? What happened? And how do we fix it so it never happens again? Right? Because I don't care that it happened. Mistakes happen. We're all human. We're fallible, right? We make mistakes. So instead of beating them up and saying, hey, you messed this up, it's like, no. What's the solution for this? Please come to a solution and we'll implement the solution immediately so this never happens again. And usually the solution is communication. 99.9% of my problems in business, in life, in family, and friendships come from a lack of communication. So if you're openly communicating your issues, concerns, and problems within your business, it eliminates a lot of them from happening. 2 to 3 biggest benefits you saw moving out of this space and into Sebastians Warehouse. Yeah, so I just reviewed some of them. Quality control was a huge benefit, as well as controlling the prep process. And then also, because it was our first space, we had a bay door. We were able to begin sending out LTL shipments without having to pay for any liftgate services fees. And we were even allowed to start sending out LTL shipments, which was massive. And we were able to open up brand new wholesale accounts for companies that only ship to warehouses, right? And not residential address. It's for FBA and FBM, Sarah. Since a lot of Amazon Prep Center operators are sellers themselves, wouldn't you be worried they'll start working with your suppliers and wholesalers? Listen, if I'm sure they have some sort of NDA you can ask them to sign, but if they're doing that, they're fucking shitty people, right? And there's no way around shitty people. Shitty people will always exist, right? But if you're working with a prep center, you find out they're stealing your suppliers. So I highly encourage only working with prep centers that you either know somebody who's done business with them before, so you have like an in, right? You have someone who's qualified to say, hey, I've been working with them for a year. Also doing a thorough review on Google, looking for any Google reviews that may be negative, and also jumping on the phone and having a phone call with them to feel them out. We were maybe doing, I don't know, 80, I want to say it was a long time ago, maybe 60 to 100K a month. We got our first warehouse, but we would have got it much sooner. We just didn't even know it was an option. I mean, my opinion about Amazon Mexico is, yeah, I like it. The only thing we don't participate in is NARF, North American Remote Fulfillment, because we find we get a lot of account health issues in those other countries that we can't really deal with. Because each country has got its own specific rules and regulations when it comes to selling products. Send me a DM, P22. It's also all the info's in the link in our bio. I didn't hire my first VA until we were probably doing, I don't know, $20 million in sales. It's just because we never really leveraged VAs in the beginning. Now we have a few of them. You know, there's nobody like me to teach me 8-9 years ago. There was no Amazon Lit 8-9 years ago to run the game. I had to figure this shit out for myself. There was nobody saying anything. There's no YouTube channels, there's no Facebook groups, there's no courses, there's no Instagrams, none of that shit. Right? So a lot of this is self-taught through trials and tribulations, which is huge value resource and asset for myself as an individual, as well as people in our community, because we've been through it all. Yeah, on to the next one, Sammy. If they're not willing to work with you today, a no is simply a no today. Right? That's why I don't beat myself up when a supplier tells me no, a brand tells me no. Because one thing about me is I know I go to a lot of trade shows, so I'm going to see them again. And I'm going to jokingly walk up to them and say, hey, it's E. You ready this time? We talked last month. I saw you in Chicago at the Sweets and Snacks. Now we're in September. We're at Expo East. You guys ready yet? Right? So then it becomes almost playful. And you become friendly with these people. I recommend hiring a VA when you need one, right? When your time is running thin, and having someone else assist you in the day-to-day will allow you to focus on growing the business instead of the day-to-day business, right? So some great things that people use VAs for initially are data sorting, um, supplier research, not outreach, but research, and then also product sourcing, right? Those are some like of the basic fundamentals that sellers use virtual assistants for. But it's very common, and it happens all the time, that people think they can just be or just hire VAs and they're going to run the entire business for them, right? But there's so many touch points that you need to have with these virtual assistants. So many touch points. So many touch points. If you don't have a lot of touch points with your virtual assistants, they're going to underperform. I help a lot of businesses. I work with some really big guys as well. Some of these big sellers, they have 40, 50, 60 virtual assistants overseas, right? And one of my buying team purchases more inventory than their 40, 50 virtual assistants. One person on my team purchases more inventory than their 30, 40, or 50 virtual assistants. Let me say that one more time. One person on my buying team purchases more inventory than them with their 30, 40, 50 virtual assistants. It's all about training. Yeah, it can be in installments, consecutive monthly installments, tech list or tech news. I'm on YouTube Live, Wholesale FBA. I'm on there right now. We've been going for 37 minutes and 5 seconds. None in the near future, but I'm down in Miami frequently. I know I'll be in Orlando in September, so we'll probably have a meetup in September. Yeah, I did bust through the wall like the Kool-Aid man, Phil. Yeah, smoked on AMZ Mexico. Bad by FDA. Yeah, CEO Dwell. It's just nobody was when I started, and 20 million for us was like 6 years ago. No, Luana, just one. Yeah, absolutely, Sam. Would you recommend leveraging business credit for capital issues just to increase revenue? This is coming from someone who is already making sales but trying to scale efficiently. Absolutely, but you don't want to leverage credit just to increase revenue. Right? You got to be making profits as well. So as long as it's profitable revenue, then absolutely, right? And I'm a firm believer that we take on products with suppliers that maybe are making us no money or maybe only making us 50 cents. Typically, we don't take on products that are losing, but I'm a firm believer that taking on inventory to grow the relationship is a huge component to really securing the relationships that you need to secure to get the growth you want to experience. But it can't be your only business model is buying unprofitable inventory to build relationships. You got to have profitable inventory in there. So yes, I highly recommend leveraging business credit. A great business credit card is the Amex Plum. It gives you a 60-day payment grace window, which essentially means you could buy the inventory, get it to Amazon, sell the inventory, get a disbursement back into your bank account, and pay off the credit card with the money from the sale of the product. But yeah, absolutely, CEO Dwell. I'm like a pot deep, Richie. Well, half a pot because my girl's here, so we split it. I'm a half a pot deep. So like six cups maybe. Occasionally, we offer we encounter suppliers that make it clear that pricing is non-negotiable. Negotiable, but I've never met one guy who said pricing's non-negotiable, and then later down the road there wasn't a negotiable price that was included. You know, usually, typically, they say that absolutely, Shamari, Plum Card's a game changer. Typically, they say that when you're first opening the account, right? Because they don't want a bunch of people just reaching out asking for discounts initially. You got to understand. So what I suggest, Daniel, is going to a local bank and opening what's called a secure card, right? It's essentially because you don't have any credit yet. Essentially, what you'll do is you'll put $1,000. This is just an example. It could be 500, could be 200, but we'll just say 1,000. You give the bank $1,000, and they give you this secured card, right? And essentially, it's like credit, but it's backed with your $1,000, right? So they have like a protection for them just in case you disappear because they don't trust you yet. You're 19, you don't have a credit score. So what you do is you use that secured credit card to build up your credit by putting up the $1,000 collateral in the bank that sits there, right? And then what you do is you continually pay that off. And a couple months of doing that, you'll begin to get a credit score, right? And then you'll be able to start applying for business credit cards. Yeah, I'm in Orlando for September. Yeah, keep scaling. It can get you to the next level. You just got to hit that $1 million first in 12 months before you can join Inner Circle. It's really important to us. It keeps out all the bullshit. Well, I don't want to say bullshit, but it keeps out the beginner questions. You know, that's what EsellersRI is for. It's for the live calls in EsellersRI. We got multi-million-dollar sellers in there, brand new sellers. It's very roomy and inclusive. But Inner Circle, in order to prevent those just generic, regular, everyday questions, so all the conversations are super high level, you have to do at least $1 million a year. Appreciate you, CEO Abdul. Let's look you up real quick. I never seen you before. Let's do some investigating. What is it? CEO_Dwell. Oh, 1L. There he is. Account is private. Of course it's private. All right, Ian, send me a DM. We can chat, man. It does count. It absolutely counts. It's 6 million in the past couple of years. What's up? So someone asked before ways to prepare. Yeah, send me a DM, Ian. Daniel, yeah, it's for complete new beginners and experienced sellers. It's all inclusive. It's very roomy. Nice. Amazing. Welcome to the squad, CEO Abdul. Welcome to the community. My buddy put me on, said you're legit. Sure are. That's where a lot of my business comes from, just word of mouth. Oh, so ways to plan for ASD. Pop into ASDonline.com. I just posted the link in the YouTube live right now. You pop into ASDonline.com. You pop open their vendor directory, and you start researching the products. Now you can sort by e-commerce friendly, but what I've noticed at ASD is sometimes companies will put not e-commerce friendly, and really they are. They just don't want a bunch of e-commerce sellers running up to them. I know if I was going to be exhibiting at ASD, my wholesale company, I would put not e-commerce friendly because I don't want a bunch of brand new sellers running up to me who know absolutely nothing about Amazon trying to open wholesale accounts. Because from real experience of owning a wholesale company, new sellers who don't understand the vocabulary, the vernacular, the way to grow relationships, how to submit purchase orders, they're a nightmare to deal with. They're literally a nightmare to deal with. And that's another reason why we offer like the trade show walkthrough, right? Is to take brand new sellers or sellers who've never been to a trade show and show them how to navigate the show floor. Yeah, let's get that to 10 million a year. So you want to review that vendor directory, pop open their websites, right? Do your research and make a game plan of companies you definitely want to connect with while you're at ASD. Also, because you're about 3 months out, you can start emailing them now. Hey, I'll be at ASD in August. I'm very excited to come stop by and meet you in person. I'd love to start the relationship beforehand. Can you please send me an account catalog along with any account applications so I can start placing orders immediately? Look forward to seeing you in August, right? A simple email like that, bickety bam, just like that. Yeah, Orlando sounds lit. I've been in Orlando every September for the past 3 years. This will be year 4. There's a big event I go to down there. Awesome, Shamari. Yeah, you're out in Chicago, right? So that's no brainer for you, man. No brainer. I'm excited to see you out there. Listen, take notes from some of these people in here, right? Don't listen to what people say. Watch what people do. I'm a firm believer in that because people could talk out their ass all day. I see it all the time on Instagram and social media. It's just blah, 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 blah. And then when like I investigate these companies and like they don't even sell online or whatever the case may be, right? But like the Shamari in here, he's in the YouTube right now. Like dudes everywhere. Joined EsellersRI, met him for the first time. He came to ASD. Not only come to ASD, but he kept messaging me and offering and saying, hey, do you need any help? Where do I need to be? Do you need help setting up? Like that is fucking cool, right? So like, don't listen to what people say. Watch what they do. And then boom, who's at Expo or who's at Sweets and Snacks show last week? Shamari, right? Who's getting tickets to Ecom Summit in Chicago? Shamari, right? So if I had to guess who's going to do really well on Amazon, I would guess Shamari is going to do really well on Amazon just because he's taking the action. Yo, Derek, what's up? I saw you crush it the other day, but this is social media again, Derek, because we saw you post that $15,000 win on that slot machine, but I don't know how much it cost me to get that, because I know me, I'll go to Vegas and I'll post my $3,000 win, but what I didn't talk about was the $4,000 I had to put on the table or the machine to get 3,000 back. So really, I'm down to G stack. But yeah, Derek, man, I see you're having a nice time with your wife out there. You got the Rolls Royce, man. You're living it up. Proud of you, man. 46K. Nice. Down? I don't even want to know, bro. Don't even. Don't even. I almost went to the casino yesterday. I was considering we ended up going to Belmar instead and just eating and chilling out. But I was like only 20 minutes from Philly and I forgot what casino's over there. I think it's Sparks or something. And I almost went, but I passed on it. Teamwork makes the dream work. Happy Memorial Day. Also, if you're a veteran and you served, I'm giving 20% off for the next 7 days for EsellersRI. Only if you're a veteran, if you served in the military, right? Or any of the armed forces, really. It doesn't have to be the military. Any of the armed forces. You send me a DM, I'll send you a link. It'll be 20% off EsellersRI. I've never given a discount off of our community, but I value people who serve for our country, right? the only reason I'm able to have the freedom that we have is because of you. So I appreciate that. I respect that. I've never, ever, ever given a discount on my program, and it's actually about to go up $2,000 in the next 2 or 3 months, from 3 to 5,000. But I got a lot of respect and love for you women and men who've served for our armed forces. So yeah, Parks is in Bensalem. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, man. Derek. Yeah, man. Oh, it's like those little character defects pop up, you know? Yeah. And I appreciate y'all for staying. Oh wow, same amount. Met you at ASD FBA, John. Awesome. We'll be there again this year. I'm there every year, August and February, every year at ASD. February we do a big event, a couple hundred people, Amazon sellers all get together. But the August trade show, we do trade show walkthroughs. So if you've never been to a trade show and you're part of our community, you're open to do the walkthrough. And essentially we walk around the trade show floor, give you a packet on how to navigate it. It's really cool. Eric, you told me to wait to sign up until I get back from overseas. Can I look at the pricing? Yeah, FBA John sent me a DM. And if we spoke already, I'm sure I sent you an email, especially if it was on a Zoom call. I probably sent you a follow-up email with all the information we discussed. Awesome, Econ Gallagher. Sourcing while watching the lives. I love it. Yeah, best event in February, Resort World. Met so many of your team members, and it was exciting. Absolutely, FBA John, man. It's really cool. It's really cool. And the Amazon community is such a powerhouse community. It's so supportive. It's so encouraging. It's just really an amazing community, you know. And like I was saying earlier in the call, I'm going to be in Austin on Wednesday to Saturday of this coming week, and I'm going to put together like a meetup, impromptu, right? I'm probably going to advertise for it the day before, not even advertise. I think actually my brother, he manages my email marketing. I think he sent out an email just yesterday about it, right? But basically what I'm going to do is Wednesday, I'm going to say, hey, meet us at this restaurant on Friday night in Austin. And I guarantee you 40 or 50 people are going to show up, right? It's going to be so cool. So the link for the beginner's course, which we used to sell, it's now free. If you go to our bio on Instagram and you click our link tree, it is the second one from the bottom. It says Amazon Wholesale Beginner's Guide. It's 22 videos. It will take you about an hour and 15 minutes to watch, but it's going to teach you a lot about the game. Now, are you going to be able to build a multi-million-dollar business out of our beginner's bundle? Absolutely not. But if you've never sold on Amazon or you're just getting started, is it going to teach you a few things that are going to make you better at what you're doing? 100%. Does it cost you anything? No, except for your time, which is our most valuable resource. Sometimes, a lot of times, I pay a lot of money to get my time back. But in this case, you don't have to pay shit because it's free. Surf Expo. I've never been to a Surf Expo, but I definitely go to a Surf Expo. Yeah, Parks, Bensalem. Really appreciate these lives. So much value. Yeah, I feel you, FPHI, man. It's motivating too to go to these events. And listen, it's first of all, it's a business expense for anybody considering, going to at Econ Summit in Chicago or AMZ United or ASD. Like, there's a few things to consider. First of all, it's a business expense. You get to deduct it against your taxable income at the end of the year, right? Because it's getting deducted from that. Which is cool because essentially the way I see it, it's like you get a 33% discount on it when you're using it on a business credit card, right? B, it helps you level up. Surround yourself with other sellers in the community and learn from them, right? Learn from them. I've been in the game for 10 years. The day I start saying, hey, Eric's got all the answers, Eric's a know-it-all, Eric has every solution, is the day I stop growing. So I will never stop learning. I'm always continuing to learn and grow. It's the foundation of my growth and my livelihood as a human, right? I got to always continue to educate and level up. It's super important to me. So we highly encourage getting to some of these trade shows, right? Is it going to cost you a little money? Yes. Do I suggest doing it if it's going to hurt your business? No, right? But if you're at a decision where you're like, oh man, should I go? Should I not go? Sales are good. Go. Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, and that's one of the reasons why we have the walkthrough, John, for members of the EsellersRI. It's because we meet with you, we spend an hour and a half walking the show floor with you, showing you where to go. It's a very big trade show. Where do you find pickers and packers locally when first getting into the warehouse? Yeah, Craigslist is good. Also, if you have any local newspapers, that's a big one as well. And then the goal is once you start getting one or two good employees, ask them if they have, friends or family members that are looking for employment opportunities. Makes sense, FBA John. Yeah, man. You got to jump on it fast. So yeah, man. Yeah, I'll be at ASD this August, 100%. I've been at ASD, I think, twice a year for the past like 4 or 5 years. It's probably my like 10th time going to ASD. Plus, it's in Vegas, so I get to be a little degenerate like Derek's being right now. Yeah. All right, my friends. I'm breaking out of here. We're coming on the 57 minute mark. I'm gonna go hit the gym and gonna pick up a buddy of mine. Hang out with him for a little bit. But no, we don't use our wholesale business to open up new wholesale accounts. But oh, one last thing too. It's Memorial Day weekend, right? So don't forget what the purpose of Memorial Day weekend's for: is to celebrate those who died in our armed forces. Right? A lot of partying happens. It's very easy to get it misconstrued. What the purpose for Monday is, right? It's to recognize the people who've given their lives for this beautiful country that we have. I talk to people from all over the world. People want to come to America. It's the land of opportunity, absolutely. Now, do you have some shitty people like what Governor DeSantis is doing in Florida? Absolutely, right? But there's also a ton of opportunity here. So shout out to everybody who served, and we appreciate you. Everybody drive safe as well. Historically, very, very heavy drinking driving weekend. So just be safe on those streets. All right. Most importantly, stay grateful and stay lit. Adios, my friends. Have a beautiful day.